Hello and welcome to Energizing Habits, simple strategies for a sustainable, healthy lifestyle. I'm your host, Vicki Cleary, and I guide ambitious women just like you to find more focus, more energy, and more productivity so they can thrive, whether it's in business or in life, all by tapping into sustainable habit change around nutrition, movement, sleep, and stress management. Are you ready? Here we go. All right. Hello and welcome back, my ambitious friends. And when I say welcome back, I mean back again for me because I had to re-recording this episode due to an audio failure. So going at it one more time, second time's a charm, right? So welcome back, my ambitious friends. Last week, I mentioned to you that I am on my own journey through my program, my Energy to Thrive project, and I'm wanting to kind of go back through it. Of course, I created it based on my experience and the whole thing, but I'm wanting to go back through it because I know that the different things work, and I need a little more work on myself. Right? We just came through a period where we have been very overwhelmed with a lot of different things happening, and we're kind of coming off of that period. And so I'm like, you know what? It's a great opportunity to just reset. I don't want to give you too many details because that's a whole episode coming up. I think 2 or 3 episodes from now. But I'm finishing week 2. And so last week was focusing on the mindset, right? Understanding my why, my reason for going through the transformation, going through the change. And then week 2, I wanted to continue to focus on because it continues to be a little bit of a challenge for me, and that is getting 7 hours of sleep. So I have been more diligent about going to bed at the right time so I can wake up at the time that I need to get up and have 7 hours within there. But I've been finding that I'm actually waking up before 7 hours. The body is just used to having less than 7 hours. And so it thinks it's time to wake up when really it's not. Really, I want to keep sleeping just a little bit longer. So I'll tell you all about that again in an upcoming episode. But being able to get more sleep is helping me through some intense days that we're having with an ongoing project we're involved in, with helping kind of settle into the summer schedule and just thinking about some things a little differently. So it's been very helpful, right? In fact, someone said to me today, it's amazing how much sleep actually affects like your thinking and your, wanting to do things and the whole, like how much it affects. It's crazy. And yes, sleep is very important. But I have a few different exciting things to share before we get into our topic for today. And the first is that I've recently booked a trip to Florida with my daughter. So we are super excited. In a few weeks, we are going to spend almost a week, not a full week, but nearly very close to the beach, if not on the beach. And we're looking forward to the sand on our toes and just chilling on the beach with the waves in the background and just hanging out. Just me and her. So that'll be fun. And she's never been to Florida. And it's also the second trip that she's taking with an airplane. So I think it's been several years since she took her last plane flight. So be kind of neat where she has a little more, she'll be able to remember a little bit, but not all the details. And so it'll be kind of fun to see her go through her new flight, the next flight. I'm also really excited to share that I am bringing back one of my popular workshops. I haven't done a yoga workshop, a yoga-related workshop in a few years, but I'm bringing back one that I had a really good response to, and it's Flexibilities 2.0. It's 2.0 because I've improved it, right? So before it was just some stretching and myofascial release, and now we're adding on keeping that component, but adding on some mobility exercises and some somatic movement so that you can help remove some of those stress memory, the muscle memory of stress in your muscles. Anyway, I'm super excited about it. If you're here in town in Wichita. It's a 4-week series, so Saturdays for 4 weeks in July. So all the Saturdays in July, 2 to 4 p.m. And each week we're going to cover a little something different, all related to those topics, though. So it'll be very fun. I'm really excited about it, and yeah, it's just kind of neat because I haven't actually done this workshop in a few years, and I couldn't tell you off the top of my head the last actual workshop I did in studio, aside from just teaching my weekly classes. So if you don't know, I teach yoga on Saturdays at Yoga Central, and that is where the workshop will be, at Yoga Central. So anyway, I'll post the link. So if you're curious to check it out, or if you want to register, that link will be down below in the notes. And I'm also I'm also excited to be back recording the podcast. It's just, I feel like May was really just a whirlwind, and not just May, but like May was kind of like the 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 apex, the culmination of like just all this stuff swirling around together. But to be able to record the podcast again, and not so excited to be re-recording because of an audio failure, because I knew plugging one cable into something probably wouldn't work. So lesson learned for next time, right? Test the audio before you get 30 minutes into a recording. But what I'm excited about for this episode and for the next episode is talking about how we can apply project management principles and concepts to our personal transformation journey. This episode specifically is around collecting requirements for our personal transformation. And next week is, well, now as soon as I go to say it out loud, now I have forgotten what next week episode is about specifically. Oh, it's retrospective. It's the power of a retrospective. So you can look forward to that next week. But today we're talking about collecting requirements for your personal transformation journey. Now, if you've listened to previous episodes, which hopefully you have, if not, stick around and take a listen. But you know that I've got an extensive background in project management, and I've been a certified project management professional through PMI, Project Management Institute, since 2012. And it was through my own experience with burnout and as a project manager and navigating my way out of this that I kind of developed this passion for helping other ambitious professionals to break out from burnout, to find more energy, some more focus, create a little more balance, if not finding, you're not going to find complete equilibrium, but more balance, right? And truly to thrive. So through all of, again, my journey and helping through other people's journeys towards that transformation, I've just continued to be amazed about the numerous intersections between project management and coaching and personal transformation, whether through myself or helping others through it, coaching others through it. So again, today's topic is no different. So collecting requirements for your personal transformation. Now, if you are not familiar with project management principles or much around project management, you might be wondering, what is collecting requirements? And if you are familiar, you might be asking, how does it relate to personal transformation? So let's take a step back. Essentially, collecting requirements is all about understanding the needs of your stakeholders and the expectations they have to ensure that your project meets its goals, right? So the whole reason you're doing the project, let's make sure that we're actually going to achieve that. So you engage with your stakeholders, and if that word is if you're unfamiliar with the word stakeholders, it's people who are interested, impacted by, or somehow involved in your project. So you engage with those stakeholders, you document their needs, again, their expectations, and then you prioritize the requirements based on the importance and the feasibility, right? Some things are just so far out in left field that you cannot have a successful project trying to incorporate all these things. So you prioritize so you can make sure that the right things end up in the project. And Just like a project needs that clear set of requirements to be successful, your personal transformation journey needs a clear understanding of what you want to change and why. So, today we're going to break this down into actionable steps so that you can set yourself up for success if you're wanting to use collecting requirements uh, towards your personal transformation. So, what is involved in this? So, first, you want to take a deep self assessment to understand what changes you need or desire in your life, right? What is it that needs to change? And then I like to frame it up in this way. So, first, you're going to identify your stakeholders, and then you're going to ask some questions. And of course, then there's documentation. So, let's step through that. So, identifying stakeholders. You've got yourself, you for your project personal transformation, you yourself are your key primary stakeholder, and then everyone else is peripheral, right? Now, there are people whose you're going to impact through your changes. You might care about them, people who can support you, so you might care about what they have to say. But understanding who all is um, around that transformation. So if you live in a household with a family, right? Your spouse, children, others who live in your household, right? All of these people can be affected, can be impacted by the changes that you're going to go through. And could be negative, could be positive. Hopefully it's positive for everybody, but some people react to change differently. But consider not just the people in your household, but maybe friends or colleagues, right? So how is your transformation going to affect them, to impact them? But also, how can they support you on your journey? I like to think of it in terms of, okay, what am I going to change? And then focus on something specific, right? So if I'm going to start changing what I'm eating, right? What I'm cooking for dinner, for instance, this week we're going to have nothing but whole foods, no processed foods, and it's going to require a lot of cooking, for instance. Not always requires a lot of cooking, but let's say for this case, might require the recipes, might require a bit more cooking. So what does that mean for the other people who, are eating the same food that you are, that you cook? Well, it could mean that there's more cooking involved. Maybe more people come to help in the kitchen, right? Get the kids involved, get the spouse involved. Could be that you've got to have a conversation about, if I'm eating this and it's really good for everybody, then everybody's eating this. Or, you don't want to eat this, so you're going to have something different. Do I have to cook 2 different meals, or are you going to cook your own then and I will cook mine, right? So it's having these conversations, understanding that the changes that you're going to be making do have an impact because you're changing up your lifestyle, you're changing up what you do on a daily basis. So when you're in a household with a spouse and kids, of course, that's a more immediate impact. But again, friends, coworkers, extended family, right? All these people. So another example that I had, just to show a different angle of it, is you want to go to the gym more often, right? You want to have some more time in the gym so you can have focused workouts, that time carved out for yourself, whatever the reasons are. What do you need support with at home in order to help you be away from home, right? So again, going back to if you've got spouse, if you got kids, kids have to be looked after, right? Do you need spouse to be at home during that time, or do you need to hire a sitter in that time because maybe the other person is working late? Whatever it is, right? The changes that we make impact others around us, and it's just about having a conversation about what that impact might look like and how we can um, address it with some alterations in either our schedules or habits or what have you. When you're doing your own reflection, right? So coming back to key stakeholder, primary stakeholder being yourself, you're going to ask yourself some specific questions. So now you're going to have a conversation with yourself, right? What is the current state, right? Where are you now? What aspects are you satisfied with in your life? What are you dissatisfied with? So this is starting to frame up, right? These things that I'm satisfied with, they're probably fine to stay as is. Probably don't need to make a lot of changes there. What you're dissatisfied with, that starts to create a list of where we're going to start looking at some different changes. What's the future state? Where do you want to be in the future? And you can look however far out into the future you want to. I like to look a little closer, right? So 3, 6 months, um, just so that it's a little easier for me to um, feel some realism with what's going to be happening, right? 5 year plans tend to be a little lofty for my brain, and taking a 5 year plan and stepping it back to what I need to do today, right now, for me gets a little disconnected. So I like to look a little closer in what my future looks like. But with that future, what does success look like? Think about your health, your career, your relationships, your overall well being, your finances, whatever categories you want to look at in terms of that future state. Then moving on to your motivation, right? Why do you want to make this change? Why do you want to do this transformation? Or why are there specific changes that you want to do? Understanding the why is crucial for, I'm going to say, staying motivated, but really it's to help support when you are not feeling motivated. So waiting until we're motivated to do something, that could be like a whole nother episode, right? But waiting until we're motivated to do something, we could be waiting a very long time. So having that why in the back of our head or in a pocket that we can pull out um, to help spur us to action, right? I want to be healthy because, I want to be able to run around with my kids. Like that's kind of a popular one, right? There's a lot of people that feel that way because they're not able to. And so that is motivating for them. When they think about that, they're more likely to then take some action. So, what is that for you? What is your why? And then move on to your resources. So, what resources do you have at your disposal? Money, time, support systems, knowledge, skills, but also what resources do you need to get? The things that you can tell right now that you need in order to get to that next step, in order to get to that next level. And then taking a look at your obstacles, right? So, what potential challenges could arise? Identifying these early in the process can help you plan how to overcome them, right? So, you're not like in the middle of the challenge trying to solve for it and figure it out, right? You've already done some thinking, this could happen. And if it does, I can go this route or I can go that route. And then you can, have some of that decision already made. And then in the moment, it's a little easier and a little quicker to get through it. Okay. So that's asking yourself some questions. But also, as a part of that personal analysis on that key stakeholder of yourself, you could also try a SWOT analysis. SWOT, SWOT, stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And this exercise can help you gain this comprehensive understanding of where you stand and what you need to focus on. So the strengths and the weaknesses, those are about you personally, they're internal to you. And the opportunities and threats are those things that are external to you, and that you may or may not have control over, but could very much impact you, and impact the things that you're trying to do. So I want to illustrate this today using an example from a previous client, but I want to protect identities. So I came up with, we're going to call her Energetic L. It's just a fun disguise name that I thought would be, energizing for our talk today. So just as for me, it just evokes such a great image. Like she's this energized lady, right? She's amazing, fully energized. She's gone through her transformation, but we're going to look at her SWOT analysis before her transformation so she could start to see what some of her requirements are for her transformation. So, again, imagining that she, Energetic L, is at the beginning of her personal transformation. And the SWOT analysis, we're going to start with strengths. So, on the positive side, things that are strengths, but then also those internal factors. So, positive internal factors, these are the strengths. She has naturally high energy. And that's when, of course, symptoms of burnout aren't coming into play, stress isn't coming into play. But more generally, she's got some natural energy levels that she can leverage as she takes on new challenges and stays active. She also has a fairly decent, what's the word I'm looking for? Base layer of good health habits. So she's practicing yoga regularly, mindfulness regularly, in different ways. And so this is starting to give her a solid foundation. Now she's probably practicing some other habits, just not on a very consistent basis to see the transformation that she's wanting to see, which is why she's going through, this analysis so that she can understand. So then let's look at her weaknesses. So again, weaknesses are negative internal factors. So the things within her coming from her. The first is she's got some time management issues. She often feels overwhelmed by her busy schedule, and this, of course, can lead to stress and burnout. So then it actually becomes a threat also, but we'll get to that in a minute. Impatience. She wants quick results, right? A lot of us ambitious professionals, we want things done in a timely manner. We want to see results in a timely manner. And so sometimes the idea of this delayed gratification can get in the way and lead to frustration when progress is slow. And then inconsistency. So again, she's not as consistent on some of her health habits, which then is causing her to not see some of the results that she's looking for. So now moving on to the external factors, starting with the opportunities. So positive external factors, she has a strong support network. She has supportive friends and family who encourage her, right? So that is an opportunity for her to get support when she needs it. Professional development. So she's got some opportunities for career advancement that align with her goals. Community involvement. So she can join local health and wellness groups that help her stay motivated and connected. Also with some accountability there, right? Becomes part of the support network. And online resources. So she's got access to tons of online resources, courses, tools that can help her in her transformation. And I'm going to throw in here, I didn't have it in my notes, but I should have. But also having a coach, right? A health coach can also be a great opportunity for her. So then moving on to the threats, and these are the negative external factors. So work pressure. High demands at work can derail anyone and their personal goals. Having health issues, right? These can create some setbacks, and especially if your stress isn't managed well. So stress can cause some health issues. There could be other things that pop up that may or may not be related to stress. And then you've got social distractions, right? So social events, peer pressure, things that might tempt her to fall back into her old habits or to just not stay consistent with her current habits. So those are the SWOT categories: the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and the threats. And by identifying these factors in this analysis, L, and really anyone, can better understand their current situation. So for energetic L, she now has a bed of requirements for her personal transformation. When she's looking at her strengths, for example, these high energy levels and these good habits that she already has a foundation for. I just lost my place on my notes. Well, she can leverage, right? It's resources that she can leverage towards her transformation, right? So she doesn't have to start at zero with those. She's already got a leg up. But her weaknesses, like time management issues, these are areas where she needs improvements. And so it's but she can focus on these. She can pay a little more attention. She can plan around some of these or to help mitigate some of them. For her opportunities, so the professional development, things like this become like a clear goal to help prioritize. While when you look at threats, like work pressure, starts to reveal those challenges that, once again, just like with the threats, you need to plan for and try to have a mitigation strategy, right? How can we avoid it or how can we minimize it? So this comprehensive understanding that the SWOT analysis provides allows energetic L, and again, anyone, to create a well-informed and actionable transformation plan. And I feel like my nose is starting to drip a little. Try not to sniffle into the microphone. So once we've got our requirements through, we've done this analysis, we've asked ourselves some questions, we've done the SWOT analysis, it starts to create this list of things that feed into our transformation, right? Things we know that we need to pay a little more attention to, things we know that can help support us that we already have strong strengths, right? Or good skills in. So the next step then is to document these. It's critical, really, both in project management and in your personal transformation. By documenting your requirements, you're creating this tangible record of your thoughts, your goals, your plans. And this then serves several purposes. First of all, it gives you clarity, right? Writing down anything helps you to clarify your thoughts and helps to ensure that you don't miss some of those important details. It creates some commitment. So just the act of documenting your goals can increase your commitment to achieving them. And then you can actually track progress. So the documentation provides a reference point to track your progress against over time. Now, when it comes to documenting, there's really several different ways you can do it. And you've got your probably some differences here in how you might document for project management purposes versus for your personal transformation journey. But for your personal transformation, you could try journaling. So regularly writing down your thoughts, your goals, and your progress. You can maybe do it daily, weekly, sometime in between. But again, it helps to create a little more thought process around like what's happening real time. Vision boards give you a visual representation of your goals, your aspirations, right? So you're using images, quotes, things that help to inspire you. And, some people like cutting them out of magazines and different things. First of all, I never seem to have the magazines that are around that give me the stuff that I want to put on the vision board. So I have found doing a digital vision board is a little more efficient for me because, like, if I do it in Canva, Canva has tons of images that you can use to put into your vision board. And you don't have to spend the time cutting and gluing or whatever you do. Just a little more efficient, a little cleaner for me. So that's how I do vision boards. But vision board is another way that you can start to document, those requirements of that transformation. And then, if there's more structured documents that you can do, you could have a detailed plan that has your goals, your timelines, milestones, your KPIs. And this can also be a comprehensive document that you refer back to regularly. And once you have everything documented, then you want to prioritize your needs and your goals. So, which changes are you going to focus on? And here you can think about it in two different ways. There's no right or wrong. It's just two different paths to get to the same place, if you will. So the first is, what is the quick win, right? So you've got all these different things that you want to work on as a part of your transformation. You're not going to tackle everything at once. So again, need to prioritize. But one way to look at it is where can I get the quick win? Which of these things can I knock out quicker, right? It's not so heavy of a lift for me to be able to do, to integrate a habit or to be able to check a box on something that needed to get done. Quick wins are a great way to make immediate progress to help boost your confidence. For a project manager brain, being able to check something off quicker. The other way that you can go about it, again, no right or wrong here, just two different ways to look at it. The other option is, where do you get the biggest impact, right? And so this might be a habit, something that you're changing, something that you're getting done off the list that it could take a little longer, right? So if you're talking about a habit implementation, this habit might take longer because it's so far out of what you're already doing. Or if it's a thing that needs to get checked off, like, yes, I just did this thing, not so much like an ongoing thing that needs to be done. just to give you, so it's not so nebulous, right? Like an example might be like, I have to purge the whole pantry, right? To get out all the junk food, right? So that if I'm thinking from a nutrition basis and I want to get everything out of the house that's going to tempt me, cleaning out the pantry is like a big thing. But it's also just a one-time thing generally. I mean, one time, maybe once a year, but it's not an ongoing thing like a habit would be. But it's probably going to take a big lift, a lot of energy to get the thing done, or some habits take a little bit more to implement because they're so far out, like I said. Um, but you're going to get this big impact. You're going to see this massive improvement right from the get go. Maybe not right from the get go, depending on how long it takes to actually see the effect. Clean out the pantry over a whole weekend, boom, like you can see the effect. Cleaned out pantry, no junk food, easy. Other than it being a whole weekend of work, and that's not easy. So you can go for the quick win or you can go for the big impact. No right or wrong, just two different ways to look at it. And kind of looking at where you're at right now. If you have a lot going on, but you know that you really want to start making progress on your transformation, the big impact item may not be the right place to start for what you're going through right now. Could be that simple, easy to execute task or habit implementation, that may be the better place to start. So you just have to take a look at it in context of what you have going on or going on around you right now. Okay, so just like any project manager would do, once you know what you're moving forward with, now you get to develop a plan, you get to execute that plan, and you get to adjust along the way, right? It's so easy. As you develop your transformation plan, you're going to break down your goals into actionable steps. What is it that you need to do to move from your current state to your desired future state? You'll set some timelines, there'll be some milestones that you keep track of your progress with. You can use KPIs, key performance indicators, to help kind of measure your personal growth, how you're going to measure success, and tracking these on a regular basis. Now, I talk about the KPIs. If you're curious about health and wellness KPIs, I talk about some of them in episodes 20, 21, and 22. So you can kind of go take a look at those. Otherwise, it's, what are the things that you know that you're going to see improvement on through these changes that you're making? And then you're going to execute. As you execute, there's also going to be some adjustment, right? There's learning curve. There's, learning curve. You learn about, you're doing something and you learn it, how it works for you. And then it's not quite working. So you want to make a quick change, right? We can tweak things and tweak things and tweak things until they work for us. If we find that it's not working for us, then that's a whole different analysis to be able to say, you know what, do I just need to put this one down and not have it be a thing for me? But the execution. So you begin implementing your plan. And when you're implementing, flexibility is very, very important. You want to have that flexibility to be able to adjust, whether it's on the fly or as you're looking at your progress through tracking, looking at some trends to be able to see, like, I don't really feel like I'm seeing what I need to see. So where can I start to experiment? Where can I start to make some adjustments? Because after all, life and projects require iteration and refinement. And along with that, you're going to regularly review your progress. Are you on track or do you need to pivot? You might consider doing a weekly check-in. You could even do a daily check-in, but in project management, it could be a status meeting or a stand-up meeting. There's different terms for it, and they have a little bit different purposes, but it all is understanding, like, where are we at in this point in time? What is it that we did? What are we trying to do? Where are we? Now, you can treat this also like a mini retrospective where you're looking at, where are you winning? And so you can celebrate it. Where are you learning, right? Not failing, but learning. And then how do you adjust from there? And so with that also, you can go back to those same episodes, 20, 21, and 22, plan your health like a project manager, where I start to talk about on these regular intervals, quarterly, monthly, daily, and weekly, what some of those check-ins with yourself might look like. You could also go back to episode 17, where I talk about year-end reflection and retrospection. Now, the principles are about the same. That episode is more of a year-end flair, but it's the same exercises, right? Essentially. But you can also tune in next week because, again, that episode is going to be the power of a retrospective. So, little plug for next week's episode. All right, so let's recap here. So, just like a project needs clear requirements to be successful, your personal transformation needs a clear understanding of what you want to change and why. So you start by identifying your stakeholders, asking the right questions, having conversations. That's both with yourself and with those external stakeholders. And then documenting and prioritizing your needs, developing a plan, and executing with flexibility. Now, as a healthy lifestyle coach, I feel like my words are failing as this episode winds down. As a healthy lifestyle coach with a project management background, I've seen firsthand how structured project management techniques can bring clarity and direction to personal growth, right? It's really quite fascinating to me. Just again, like I said at the beginning, the intersections between these two. And that's honestly why I created my Energy to Thrive project, right? That coaching program the way that I did, because it's infused with a balance between project management and life coaching support. So if you'd like to learn more about that coaching program, please email me it's Vicky, VICKY, at uplifthealthylifestyle.com. You can also visit the website to get to the links of things, right? So if you don't get the email, no big deal. But definitely do reach out to me if you've got questions about that program. Now, of course, we can't close the episode without that energizing habit for the week. This week, I challenge you to start your personal transformation journey. And if you're already on it, just throw this action right in there, okay? By reflecting on your current state and your future state. Take 5-10 minutes each day. Journal, it could be typing, it could be with a pen and paper, doesn't matter. Journal about where you are now and where you want to be. You can even really hone this down and say, in this particular area, and just spend a few minutes. And then the next day, find a different area. And so you're starting to create kind of this rounded out picture of these different, how all these different areas come together to then craft your future transformation. So, writing down your thoughts, begin to identify those most important goals. Now, that simple action is going to give you your requirements, collecting requirements for what that future transformation is, right? And that's why if you go through different topics each day, you get a fully rounded feeling for all the different things. And then you can pick and choose. Where do you want to start? Because also, we don't want to change everything at once. You've heard me say this before. If you listen to the episodes, you can change your life without overhauling your lifestyle. It all starts with understanding where you want to go and who you want to be. Now, if you're ready to break out from burnout or prepare to prevent it, let me know. So, going back to that Energy to Thrive project, schedule a consultation with me. Like, let's talk about your goals, what you're struggling with right now, and how these project management principles can come together with life coaching support to serve you and help you through your transformation. So you can visit the website, uplifthealthylifestyle.com. All of these links are going to be down below. If you can't remember them, no big deal. But that's what I have for you today. So if you found this episode helpful, and I hope that you did, because it certainly is fun for me to talk about collecting requirements and coaching together, but also going through the exercises myself. I found it's just super helpful. It just offers so much clarity. But that's beside the point for me right now. If you found this episode helpful, I want to hear from you. So do me a favor, like the episode wherever it is that you're listening to it, because that helps that platform know that it's being watched and liked, and take a screenshot and then tag me in your Instagram stories. So I'm on Instagram at Uplift Healthy Lifestyle. Would love to hear how this episode or any of the other episodes is making an impact for you in your health and wellness journey. So there you go. Have an energized day.